Mal, do not. So the rules are for today, you do not mention my hot contractor.
Okay.
Because I will not be able to continue.
Loud and clear.
I'll get flustered. My loins will get warm. And we'll have to shut the whole production down.
All of your loins.
All of my loins. All of my loins. So them's the rules. All right?
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to The Struggle with Candice Thompson. And I'm so excited.
You didn't introduce yourself. That's new.
Oh, maybe I haven't gotten past that. Maybe. I don't know, but I feel like I did it last week.
Good.
I didn't say this is Candice Thompson?
No. Thankfully.
From The Struggle with Candice Thompson?
Yeah.
If you guys recognize that voice, then you may have been listening to early episodes
You're
of this
OG.
podcast.
You're OG.
I've got my OG, Mal Hall. Don't say hi yet, because I have to do my intro.
Okay.
Okay, don't say hi yet.
All right.
And I know everyone's just anxiously awaiting for when you get to speak.
Okay.
And that's how I want it, because I'm excited that you're here, and I bet listeners are excited. All 7 of them are really excited that you are here again. So to my loyal listeners, thank you for coming back. And
None
to
of the
my
black
new
men.
listeners, none of the black men. None of the black men like you. I don't think anything's changed. Maybe I have some new people that might,
All right.
they might surprise us. If you're a black man and you enjoy this podcast after listening to Mel Hall, please send him or me
Some positive affirmation.
a DM and just say that you enjoyed Mel. Because one of Mal's struggles is getting black men to enjoy his company.
Yeah.
Or just support him in any way, shape,
Yeah.
or form.
Yeah. The culture does not.
I get all
co-sign.
types of support from black men.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Anyway,
And
do your part. Get to your part. That's enough about me.
anyway, for my new listeners, thank you for joining. The Struggle is a podcast where I have my friends come on and we talk about things that we're struggling with in the adult world, because everything is challenging after the age of, 18, I guess?
Yeah.
If you're on your own. If you're doing it right, it's hard. Anyway, subscribe. Yeah, subscribe on YouTube if you haven't done that. We got videos on there. And subscribe on all podcast platforms. Rate and review us on iTunes. And if you haven't told somebody about The Struggle and you're listening to this regularly, please do us a favor and pay it forward. Now, you can follow me on social media at Jokes by Candice, CandiceThompsonComedy.com for my shows. And now I am going to introduce someone who I'm very excited to have back, Mal Hall.
Hey, everybody, it's me.
Mal is back, you guys. He's not dead. I didn't fire him. There were so many speculations.
People were angry.
People were angry. Those 7 people that were
That really
Ride or
enjoyed my
die.
part of the show.
were like, where did Mal go?
If you're a new listener, every week when we would do this podcast, Candice would intro me as like, still here, unfortunately, Mal Hall. And then I would do my intro. And so I honestly felt like, oh, Candice and all the listeners hate me, but this is a cool thing to do, so I'm coming back.
Everybody's podcasting,
Yeah.
so I might as well just stick with it and see
then,
where we go.
Yeah, and then I left the podcast, and, people were outraged at you. And you then translated that outrage to me.
One guy in particular, tweeted at me and said, what did he say? It said
Something like, why did you fire
Why did you
Mal?"
fire Mal? I was a fan, but not anymore. I used to listen to your podcast, but not anymore. And I'm like, whoa.
You said, whoa, and then you proceeded to reply to him and have a back and forth,
Yeah.
which fired you up to a point where you texted me,
Yes.
hey, Mal, you have at least one ride or die fan.
Because
Dang.
yeah, he came at me crazy talking about I fired you. And I'm like, no, Mal's not here because his pullout game is weak. That is what I said on the podcast.
God.
And he got his girlfriend pregnant and he had to move back to San Diego.
How do you know I didn't do it on purpose?
Because nobody does.
It's true.
Nobody does.
Just for the record, my baby is a contraception beater, so he's just a very strong, resilient.
So he was fighting to be here,
Yeah.
and he made it. And I will tell you, I said before, Colino is adorbs.
Yeah, he made it, and he's like, he's the best.
Kind of the best.
He's the best.
He's a nugget, and that's my favorite.
Yeah.
He's a nugget, and
He doesn't like Candace. Like when Candace holds him, he cries. and she'll hand them off to literally anyone
A
else,
complete stranger. It could
and
be a stranger on the street.
and he'll
And
stop
Kalina will be
crying.
like,
Yeah.
but then when I hold him, but it's not just me, your friend Steven, too, you said.
You and Steven. He just not a fan of light skin.
Maybe he doesn't
Black.
like racially ambiguous people.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I don't know what you are, so I'm not giving
Me
it
and
up.
Steven are the racially. I mean, you're a mix, but you're definitely more something.
Right.
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 Where us, we are just question marks.
If you're new, my name is Mal Hall, MALHALL, malhall.com for shows, and at Mal Hall on basically all social media, Mal Hall TV on YouTube. Please subscribe to my videos.
That's where people can unfollow you, right?
They can unfollow me at all social medias at Mal Hall. Unfollow before you even follow.
I miss saying that. I do. I miss saying that. Oh, man. So, Mal,
Mm-hmm.
you're in San Diego now.
Yes.
How are you? You said this isn't one of your struggles, so I would like to ask you just in general, how are you adapting to fatherhood?
It's cool.
Because Kalino is
He's 4 months
4
now.
months now.
He's been a pretty easy like baby, so we're lucky there, and we have a lot of family support there, so that's made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
So I've still been like touring like regular, and Carlene's dad, so grandpa is like recently retired, and
Yeah.
so he
That's so convenient.
watches a baby when I'm
Yeah.
on tour, so it's like pretty great,
Yeah.
pretty good. So it's not really a struggle yet, you know.
Wait till he starts walking,
Yeah.
talking.
All my parent friends say, you're like, this is the easiest spot right now where you could put him down and walk away and come back, and he'll be in that same
spot.
But yeah, it's like, it's fun.
What remember when I said to you, because you tour a lot,
Hmm.
didn't I make a joke about you coming back and Kalino has a different dad? You didn't laugh at that.
No. I mean, why is that hilarious to you? I come back and the locks are different.
And some other man is raising your baby.
I'm trying to see my son. You mean my son? Brad? You changed his name too? Why Brad?
That Kalino was a little too ethnic. So
Yeah.
Mal didn't appreciate that.
Yeah,
But do you think that, what were you about to say?
that's Carlene and I are still good. As far as I know, there's not a dude on the side.
Yeah, but do you work? That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear
As
that.
far as I
I'm
know.
glad to hear that your girlfriend's not cheating on you. Is there a concern though? Like, do you think about with your schedule and being a comedian, and are you nervous about how that is going to affect your parenting, not being there as much as you'd want to be?
No, because I think our job is like mostly on the weekend. So like I'll end up spending more time with him than most parents, you know? Uh-oh. Oh no. Candice just showed me a funny GIF on her phone. I'll end up getting to spend more time with the kid because Monday through Thursday, I'm with him from when time he wakes up till when he goes to sleep.
Yeah.
And most dads most parents that work don't get to spend that much time. I get to be with them a lot. So
Right.
I think it's a good trade-off.
Right. Oh, well, I think you'll make that work. I have faith in you, Mel.
Yeah.
Not in a lot of things, but with this, I do have faith in you as being a parent.
Oh, well, thank you.
I do.
Because I take it serious. Like, as a dude that was raised by, like, a single mom, it's like being a good dad. Like, I want to be like your dad. You know what I mean? Like, the way you talk
My
about...
dad, Howard Thompson?
Yeah, the way you talk about your dad is how I want, like, Kalino to talk about me. I just want him to be proud and, like, also,
And single for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And undateable because
Single.
of his unrealistic standards.
Single with no prospects.
Because you did such an amazing job.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got to be alone for the rest of his life.
Exactly. Yeah. That's his cross to bear. But you know what? For me, I just need to focus on being a good dad.
Well, it goes either way. I feel like with people who don't have a dad, they either become that or they go the complete extreme opposite. And they're like, I just want to make sure that I'm there because my dad never was.
He's going to be a spoiled asshole. Yeah. But that's better than, no
Right.
dad.
Right. Raising a fuckboy.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think that was the alternative, but If you
It
say so,
is. That's
Candace.
what fuckboys are. That's what fuckboys are. They're just dads with daddy issues, or boys with daddy issues
Okay. All right.
who don't know how to treat women. Now,
What's your struggle?
my struggle is
Do you like how I took over your podcast?
you did, and it's fine because you. If anyone I would let do that, it is you. You were in this with me from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is your struggle?
I have. Well, I already told you about one of them today. I'm not
Yes.
going to get into that.
Yeah, you're not ready. That's not ready for public consumption yet.
No.
So what's your fake struggle?
No, this is also a real struggle. But the more I'm thinking about it, is because I talked on this pod. I don't think I talked to you about it. Did you see? You saw when I got into a Twitter battle with Miss Pat. Did you ever see that go down?
No.
Oh shit.
What happened? Give me the cliff notes.
For people, because I did explain this on a previous episode. Leo Flowers was the episode that I talked about. If you
Okay.
want to really get into detail about what happened, but
Love Leo.
basically, Miss Pat said some disrespectful shit to me on stage one night. She doesn't know me. She's another comedian who is also a regular at the Comedy Store. So this went down in the main room at the Comedy Store. She brought me up to the stage by saying, "White people, clap for one of your people,"
Mm.
and she doesn't know me.
Okay.
So think about how psychotic that is for a
Right.
second.
Right.
We've never exchanged any words. And that's how you bring me up to the stage. After she refuses to say my name. Like, she won't even say my name.
Even if you were white, that's very disrespectful. Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's inappropriate.
It's crazy. And so...
I'm the black guy that says inappropriate.
Yeah, and it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate.
That is inappropriate.
It is. And
Yeah.
so I went looking for her immediately after, and I couldn't find her. So then I went home, and I was like, this is not sitting with me well. I cannot let this woman just disrespect me like this and not say something. So I went to Twitter like an adult and tweeted about her. And I added her in it. And my first thing I said to her was, I said, "Miss Pat, I know you're upset, but disrespecting other comedians on stage is not going to bring Popeye's chicken sandwich back."
Oof.
And so that just, where it went from there. And so we went back and forth. And so I'm bringing this up because my friend, I don't know if you saw any of this. I'm not really on Twitter. So like
Twitter, I deleted from my phone.
Twitter is trash.
It's my least favorite social media.
People have ruined Twitter. You can't tell jokes on there anymore. You can't do anything. It's just for angry people and for people who want to have fake outrage.
Yeah.
And so I don't tweet much anymore. But I didn't even see this go down, but my friend Joyelle texted me an article because my friend Amanda Seals got attacked because of an experience she went through. She went basically, to do this in a very succinct way. She went to, there was a Black Emmy party. I went last year. It was super fun. Like, we're talking about, like, all of Black Hollywood was there. I got a lot of celebrity backs while I was there. From Jill Scott to Sterling K. Brown.
And you were the only white guest there.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So it was super fun. I didn't go this year, and Amanda went, and I didn't know any of these things that transpired that I'm about to say. But basically what happened was she was invited by Jesse Williams. You know Jesse Williams, he's an actor. He invites her, and I don't know if I'm going to get all this right. This is her telling me on the phone what happened, but I am not going to get all the details exactly right. All I know is that one of the people that was in charge of letting people in told her she's not on the list. And she was not on the list because she's now a +1 of someone else, who was on the list. But also, she's on billboards. Like,
Right.
she's had an HBO special. She's on Insecure. She's on co-hosting The Real for like a week. Like, let her in. Like, what are we talking about? But this particular person that was being the gatekeeper.
Miss Pat?
Correct. Think how funny that would be if Miss Pat was the one letting people in. Oh, no light-skinned pretty bitches.
Yeah.
No one that's funnier than me. Nope.
Yeah. So the person running the door.
So, yeah, and it was, this is Issa's publicist, Issa Rae.
Okay.
And so she told Amanda she can't. And then they do have a previous issue with one another. I don't know the exact details of it, but they have had issues with one another. And she's now telling Amanda she can't come to this party for obviously personal reasons, which to me is like, leave your personal shit at home. Like, this is an event. It's kind of like a work. This is a networking thing. So just let her in. So she wouldn't. She ended up going in with someone else. Like, I think it was Janet Jackson's manager was like trying to vouch for her. whatever. She ends up like going in with another person there who was invited in the party, and security comes and escorts her out. This is
Mm.
how serious it got. Like they came and got her and kicked her out of the party.
Mm.
And I'm like, is it this serious? It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's not. It's Amanda. Like she's
Right.
not an active shooter. What are we
Mhm.
talking about?
Right, right,
So
right.
I didn't know any of this went down until my girl sent me an article. My girl Joelle sent me an article, and it was people just coming for Amanda, like on Twitter and whatever. Of course, everyone likes drama. They never want to be supportive of anybody. And so there are a lot of people just dragging her on Twitter saying that's what she deserves, whatever. And I bring up the Miss Pat thing and the thing that happened to Amanda online is because people, where are people like the positive people and your friends when stuff like this happens? And I felt really like when I was getting attacked by Miss Pat's fans, like there were people that I know that saw me getting attacked online by people who don't even know me.
Mm-hmm.
And like another comic slid into my DMs and he was like, yeah, I bit my tongue, but she's been mean to me too. And I'm like, well, then could you say something? Like,
Yeah.
because it really looks like I'm the one who's out of line here. And it's like,
Right.
from personal experience that she's been evil towards you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like everyone just wants to bite their tongue in situations like this. And I understand that it's tricky because not everybody knows both sides of the story. But
Right.
I will say, I stood up for Amanda on Twitter. Like I said something because I know her. Like I know her character and I know she was wronged and it's not right. And people are not speaking up for what is right. And it's because this industry is so fake. They don't want to take sides because they're like, if I take the side of the person who doesn't have a television show next week,
Yeah.
maybe I can't work.
Yeah.
And it's like, just be a good friend.
Yeah.
And so there were two people at that party who she considered to be friends of hers, who she told, like, they're not letting me in. And they were like, oh, that's fucked up. And then just went in the party. Whereas, like, if that were me.
Ooh, that sucks, girl. What is that? Voov?
Right.
I'll be right back.
See you later.
See you never.
Like, could you imagine
Yeah.
if you were at a party and you were having this happen to you and I showed up
I could imagine.
and and me just walking by and going in the party?
I think you would put up a fight for me in the moment and then go, Mel, I tried. Now I heard they got Voov in there. I'll be back.
No, I heard.
Yeah.
I heard they got some mad celebrity backs in there. I
hit
got to see you later.
I'll hit you up after. We'll get ramen after. I'll tell you about it. Okay, bye. I'll come back for you.
No, Mal, you
Yeah.
have me wrong.
No,
I
I
would
know.
leave.
Yeah.
I would fight.
Yeah.
And if you didn't get in, I guess we ain't going
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
who we fighting at this party.
Right.
That's what would happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And Amanda did not see that from anybody
So
except
she
for
lost some friends that night.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I were there, for sure, I'd have been like, no, we ain't going in this party, or we fighting somebody to
Yeah.
get in this party together.
It's unfortunate, but people's true colors come out eventually.
They for sure. But it's also and I've said that I've talked about this before on the podcast. Like being a good person is a fucking lonely place to be in LA.
Yes.
And so it weighs on you at certain times and you're just like, why am I subjecting myself to this when I know it is a mentality. You have to remind yourself there are good people. It's just like I feel like the good people, even when stuff like this happens, still don't show themselves necessarily.
Right.
They might feel a certain way, but they don't speak up. And the situation with like Amanda specifically is that was wrong. What happened to her? Like this was obviously a personal something that was being held against her in this moment.
Right.
And if one or two people had said to this woman, hey,
Chill.
yes,
Yeah.
the whole thing would have been squashed.
Right.
The whole entire thing.
That's crazy.
It's like they're just enjoying seeing somebody get hurt. And to me, and people are just laughing about it. And I, even after I defended her on Twitter, people are still coming at me, not crazy, but just like still saying she was wrong for this and this. And I'm like, are you listening to yourself?
Yeah.
She
Answer
deserved what?
deserved.
Nobody deserves to be treated like that
Yeah.
unless they are an evil person. And I'm telling you right now, she's not an evil person. She's a great person who
Yeah.
has been misunderstood. And yeah, she has some issues with her that she's gotten into with other people in the past, like with like butting heads and stuff like that. But when you're in this industry, from how long she's been in this industry, from when she was a kid, like, and you see you're surrounded by awful people all the time, you build up a wall, and
Yeah.
you sometimes don't know how to talk to people because people attack you so frequently.
Right.
And so I have a soft spot for Amanda because that's my homegirl, and because she's a great person, but
Mm-hmm.
she is misunderstood a lot, and she caught a bad rap for just, number one, being a woman of color, a woman of color who is talented, a woman of color who has a lot to say and is opinionated, and she's successful. And so
Mm-hmm.
that right there is enough ammo for someone to attack her. So,
Right.
but anyway, she's great. Moving on, but I get really
Bummed out.
bummed out for sure that this is what we're dealing with. Like, people are just watching her getting treated like that and seeing me getting attacked online and not even saying like, "Hey, what happened here? Are you okay?"
Right. How did you resolve the thing with Miss Pat?
Oh, we fought. No. We fought on I don't know if you watch I was trying to think of that MTV, was it Celebrity Smackdown?
Oh,
They used to
yeah.
have
The claymation
Yes.
show.
Yes, we went to blows on that. But yeah, no, I haven't seen her. I saw her the night after this happened, and she didn't even have a spot at the store that night. I had a spot, so I don't even know why she was there. I'm sure she was there just to get into it with me. I have no
Right.
idea, but I just walked right past her and acted like I didn't see her.
Why?
Nat was with me that
You
night.
should have just confronted her.
I-
Squash it out in person.
That's what I wanted to do that night, but I
Right.
couldn't find her. And so that night, no, she had came at me so I'll show you the tweets, but she came at me so crazy that I'm not the one that needs to approach anybody at this point.
Right.
You need to come up to me because you said some fuck shit,
You're telling me that she has to be the bigger person.
which should be easier for her. Mal set me up for that alley-oop, right? That was Mal being an asshole. I just like to point that out.
I'm Chris Paul, and I just lobbed it up, and you're DeAndre. Lob City.
All right. Now,
My struggle?
what are we struggling with, Mel?
I have a couple. I'm going to try to start with a lighter one first.
Wait, let's start with your ashy knuckles first.
Okay, yeah.
I would like.
Dry skin. Normally, I don't have dry skin. Look, it went
You
away.
normally don't. You normally are strapped with your Dr. Bronner's
It went away, though.
lotion. From what?
My skin felt
Your skin
that
regenerated.
it was getting roasted, and they're like, let's send some moisture to our knuckles quick.
As soon as I did my Instagram story, your knuckles were
Yeah.
like, we can't have this.
We can't have this. So this is a struggle we were talking about at lunch. Megan, so I'm a friend of women. Like, I'm the straight guy that has girlfriends, and
I'm a friend of women.
what?
No, I just like how that even has to have a label. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
as if because normally just a friend. I'm just a friend of people is
Yeah.
fine, but you have to, because you're a man, it is so unheard of.
And because I'm a straight dude, I
You're a
have to-
straight man
yeah,
who's not trying to smash
right
all your girlfriends,
at all.
female friends. Yeah.
So I mean, I try to write in my shows, like I try to write truth, you know. So I write a lot of jokes from the perspective of like a guy who has girlfriends and is like being honest about what the situation is between men and women at 2019.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that I'll be having a great set, and then I'll get into this material, and half the crowd is pulling back, and it's the dudes that are pulling back because they can't laugh at themselves.
Can you give me an example of just a premise of one of the jokes that you say?
Millennial men aren't real men.
That's polarizing. I can see why that's polarizing.
But it's like, I don't stand on a soapbox and talk down. I'm like, I'm in the
You're
same
one
group,
of them,
dude.
right.
Like,
You are a millennial,
yeah,
so
we're
yes.
not, our grandpa is
Yes.
like basically, sort of the POV there. And I, bring forward examples. And these dudes, like, will just fold their arms for 15 minutes on my show and just look at me. And I'm like,
he's not on our side.
yeah, like I don't want to be known as a comedian that's like the man hater. That's a man. Like, I'm a self-loathing
Right.
dude. Like, that's not the point of this. It's like, I'm pointing out things that we could be better at,
Yeah.
and you should be able to laugh at the shit.
Yes.
But most guys can't. So I'm like,
Because they're not ready to admit that they're imitating that behavior that you're talking about,
Yeah.
and that because in essence they would have to laugh at themselves, and
totally.
doing that scares people. It's putting people in a vulnerable position that they're not ready to
It's
do.
admitting. It's admitting.
Like, I'm acting silly.
Yeah.
I'm being foolish right now.
So my struggle is like to find a way to do this exact same material because I believe in what I'm saying, but in a way that's palatable for dudes. And it's like, how there's like no nice way to be like, hey, most of us are trash, in
But
2019.
and here's the thing is why I think it's so necessary for you to do it and why you have to keep fighting this fight is because it is true. Like I notice a difference and I thought maybe it was just because I'm a woman. So it's
Right.
good to hear that you're saying this, but like when I have even just when I say fuck boys on stage,
Mm-hmm.
the tone changes in the room.
The
I'm
whole
not
room.
calling anybody in the room a fuck boy. I
Right.
just say fuck boy on stage.
Yeah.
And I say it now, not a lot, but I do it like maybe at least once a show now.
Right.
Because I like seeing how the audience reacts to it. And it's so bizarre.
Yeah. It's
It's like you
weird.
cannot say something so negative about men when you think about all the times women have been the butt of jokes.
Right.
I'm like, and nobody had a problem with that.
I'm like it's weird. It's to the point where I've like literally been like in my head like, well, should I do like the alternative, like women aren't the same as they were in our grandfather's time, like women don't
You
cook
could,
anymore.
for sure. Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, maybe I should, and then it'll be equal, and then the guys could be like, ha,
Yeah.
ha, ha, or whatever. But it's like, I would be doing that just
For the sake of.
for the sake of,
Right.
and it's not
But you never know. You could add that on and be like, oh, this actually is funny
works
and
as
it
well.
works
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's worth a try.
Yeah.
When I think about a joke that was like that I understand was done for that specific purpose of just getting women back on your side, I
Yeah.
think about Gerard Carmichael. He had in one of his, I think it was his first special, he had a joke about if you're married to a man who is super successful, you just have to be okay with him cheating.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. Like, it is
Right.
like a man who's like that ambitious is going to be that ambitious when he's looking for ass,
Right.
right? Like, he doesn't leave that part of him. He doesn't leave that part of him at work.
Right.
Like, that's just who he
I'm
is.
trying to win.
Yeah. He's looking for promotions in every
Right.
way, shape, or
Right.
form. Not
Right.
just at the job, but also in their women, right?
In the sheets.
Right. So there's that. And that, of course, could come off as very, like,
Misogynist.
sexist.
Yeah.
Right? And so he added on, he was like, look, I know if I was dating Beyonce,
Yeah.
that if she told me to go shut up and make a sandwich, I'm going to go make a sandwich.
Yeah.
Like, she's the boss in that situation.
Right.
So, and he probably knew he had to add that on. But every time someone has an issue where they flip a joke like that to get the other side on their side, I'm like, I think about that because I thought that was a perfect example
Yeah.
of I understand how you just need to win people back.
Yeah. So that's like the struggle of like the last 6 months is like, and I had this last year because last year I read a bunch of jokes about being the guy hanging out with girls and like none of the dudes could
Yeah.
take it, and then at a certain point I found like how to present the material. I'm like, oh, it works now, but like I don't know, I just hate that I have to do that.
Yeah. No, of course.
Like the crowd last night was amazing. Like all the dudes were just like fucking laughing.
Yeah.
Like they should, because they're like,
It's just jokes.
they're just jokes and they're fucking true.
Right.
Like, laugh at it.
That's why it's funny. Right.
Um,
So wait, I have a question as far as because I know you've always talked about having female friends.
mhm.
Have you always had? Because I know you were raised by a single mom, and that had a tremendous effect on that. But even when you were like a younger kid, did you have female friends? When did you notice a shift in how your friends all of a sudden started? What age were you?
It was after high school. And here's the root reason I've
Mhm.
traced it back to the reason why I started having a ton of girlfriends is because I had no game. So
They just ended all up in
Yeah,
that friend zone.
yeah, I would friend zone quick. I would go from hello to the friend zone immediately. I would tell my friends, like my guy friends, like, ooh, I'm gonna go holler at that chick right there. And then 30 minutes later, they would come over and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, we're deep in a conversation right now about blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, he's not gonna get that pussy at all.
They're knitting.
Yeah.
Why are they? They're knitting together.
We're making wool knit hats right now. So yeah, a lot of in the early stages, a lot of the girls that I initially was hitting on would go on to become
Yeah, because
some of
you
my
just
great
were not
girlfriends.
well
Yeah.
versed in how to really hit on women to
Yeah.
let them know that you were interested.
Right.
And we've talked about you having lack of swag.
Yeah. That's one of the
That's-
reasons why black people don't vibe. They don't feel swag. I'm not dripping swagoo. That's There's a famous story. I went to this this radio host I used to work with tells this story every time I'm a guest on a show. But he's like, I went to this like little mixer function and I'm talking to this girl for like 15, 20 minutes. We're having a great conversation. And then the conversation sort of dies down and like I just sort of moved on and I started talking to this other chick. And then like 5, 10 minutes later, the first chick comes up, interrupts my conversation like, hey, do you want my number or what?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like I'll take your number. And she's like, so you're not gay? And I'm like, no, man, that's why I was talking to you. I was just never the guy that was like very bold with it. Like, let me get your digits, girl.
right.
Hey, girl, where's your man at? Hey, can I holler at you? Hey, ma.
Hey, Ma.
That's not me.
And it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
All right? Just know we don't like that. We don't like that. But
bro, just kiss her and see what happens. Grab her ass and see what happens.
the reason
What do you mean?
just
because you didn't grow up with a dad. Just push up on her and see what happens. See what happens?
I'm pretty sure Me Too is what is going to happen if I take your advice.
I'm just going to not do that. Yeah.
So every time, I mean, yeah, I just love you so much because you're ridiculous. But like you still to this day are not a person who I would say has swag. Not that is an insult.
I mean, it does not feel like a compliment. I'm going to just put that out there.
What is a comparison?
To this day, Mal, you actually do not have swag. No, no offense. What?
You've been consistent. That's all I'm saying is you are who you are.
Look at Mal. Your thing is having no swag. You can make money off that.
Swag doesn't matter. At the end of the day,
Feels like it does matter.
It does not. Do you have a girlfriend? Don't you have a nice young baby?
Yeah.
See, it doesn't matter.
I mean,
Carlene loves you regardless. All right? So, at what point did you embrace your swaglessness and figure out how to hit on women without the swag and the apes, hey girl, ape?
I don't know. I think it just happened naturally where I was like, oh, at a certain point, I just don't need to be scared. I think that's most guys hide, like, it's fear that's making them do the hey girl, hey
yeah.
type thing.
Not be themselves and do what they think
When
works.
the easiest thing I found was just to fucking walk up and say hello. Like, the worst thing that's going to happen is, like, she's going to stab you in the face. And it's probably not going to happen. Odds are it's not going to happen.
Probably not.
But doing stand-up helped a lot.
I was going to ask if comedy, I'm sure comedy had something to do with it.
Stand-up gave me confidence because this is like one of the hardest jobs out there. And so to make, thousands of people laugh at one time or just talk to one person, I think making thousands of people laugh is much harder than just walking up. The stakes are so much lower. Me talking to a stranger.
For sure.
Like, I'm the guy in the airport that, like, if I'm bored, I'll just talk to whoever's next to me because, like, I don't care. Like,
we're so different. I'm the person who puts their headphones on so they don't have to talk to people.
No.
And I'm not even listening to anything.
You have to talk to people.
I know. I'm bad. I do think, the more I think about it, I think I am a little autistic.
You could be.
I think so. I mean, I took a test.
I passed. I got a C+ on my autism test. That means you're on the spectrum, Candice.
I'm not on the spectrum, but I think I have autistic moments and characteristics.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like, you know how, like, you like going to concerts?
Mm-hmm.
I hate it.
Why?
Because it's loud.
But you like music.
I love music, but I hate people being around me, and I don't like loudness.
These are all like-minded people.
No, I know, but it's the loudness of it. Crowds bother me and loud things bother me. And those are two very autistic things to be bothered by. And I love being alone. I love being by myself a lot.
So there's these, like, I have a son now, obviously. And we bought him these, we bought him these headphones. And you just put the headphones on, Candice. and you put a jacket on, you put your hands in the pockets of the jacket, and you will walk around the concert with the headphones on, and you don't really have to hear
What's
the people around you.
point of being
And
there
it
at a concert with headphones on?
It turns the volume of the concert down a little bit so you can just enjoy the show.
Even that sounds like it's a lot.
Who's your favorite artist?
Favorite right now?
Nina Simone, right?
And this is our last episode. I'm gonna stop the podcast because
Nina Simone.
we were just listening to Nina Simone on the way over.
Like, you wouldn't go see her in concert?
Well, she's dead, so no.
But if you could?
Yeah, of course.
If she was doing a comeback tour
If
from
Nina
the grave?
Simone was doing a concert, I'd be an idiot to not go.
Right.
Just like how one time I almost said no to going to a Prince concert, and it was the last, like his last run of concerts.
Wow.
Yeah, like when he came into the Forum, I went to that. It was like $25, and me and my sister and Chantel and some friends went.
Amazing.
My cousin. And so we went to that, and I was like, imagine if I'd said no to this, and then he died, like, not that long after
To me,
that.
there's nothing better than a concert. Because it's what we do, like, you know, entertaining people, but just like the energy is an elevated thing that will never, ever, like, Dave Chappelle, who to me is like the funniest comedian of all time, will never achieve the same energy as like a band that goes on stage and plays the whole crowd's favorite song.
Oh, of course not. And I resent musicians for that. The fact that they get to do repeat songs, and the fact that they can get away with so much more, like in general.
I hate when people go to a concert and like when the musicians banter between songs, like after the concert, people will be like, John Mayer is so funny.
And you're like
he's funny.
Like, he's funny for a musician.
Yeah.
Like,
if
not
his
a
joke bombs. He just goes 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Your body is a
You
wonder.
have an
Like,
out.
what the fuck?
You have an out. We got to stand up there after a joke bombs and be like, man, shit is crazy.
Give it up for the ladies, all the beautiful ladies.
Where my Scorpios at? Anytime you hear a comic say shit is crazy, it means the joke they just told did not work.
It did not go how they thought it was going to go.
I feel like we're, you know, like when they had the magicians that tell
Inside
the
baseball,
secrets.
yeah.
We're telling secrets that comics don't want people to know. But yeah, anytime a comic says shit is crazy, it's because whatever they just said, they got crickets from it.
Whenever they go, so what do you guys want to talk about?
They have nothing else to say.
They're like, look, you guys aren't a fan of this bullshit that I've been bringing. What do you want to talk
Wait,
about?
can we talk about Chappelle's special? Did you watch his special?
Amazing.
Can we talk about it?
Sure.
Another thing that I really enjoyed it. I really quickly before we start breaking this down, but I got in trouble on Twitter again because I don't know what I was doing for like a week and a half. I was just on Twitter
picking Twitter fights.
Not even, and not intentionally. Well, the one was intentionally with Miss Pat, but she deserved that. But also for this Chappelle thing, I tweeted after I watched the special because you know he had a joke in there that said there's no such thing as good 36-year-old pussy.
Mm-hmm. I did see your tweet.
And I said, Chappelle said there's no such good thing as 36-year-old pussy, as if 40-year-old dick was something to write home about.
Right.
And so, yeah, people, the men did not like that.
Right.
They came at me crazy. You sound like you're in your feelings a little bit. I was like, no, you sound like you are, because I'm just telling a joke.
Just dudes. 40-year-old dick is good.
Yeah,
Wait, how do you know?
I have empirical evidence. I have experienced 40-year-old dick, and it's just okay. It's okay. It's like it needs a little help sometimes, and that's why
flavor.
They don't make pills because 40-year-old dick is fantastic, right? There are pills specifically for the needs of 40-year-old dicks and older.
Right.
They're not giving our pussy pills, right? You know what I'm saying? We good.
They not giving out pussy pills.
We good.
Hashtag we good. Oh my God. That's the billboard. Hashtag we good.
And I'm like, what is a billboard for? Pussy, Candice. Can't you see it? It's a pussy billboard. And I'm like, pussy doesn't need advertising now. What do you not understand? Hashtag we good. We don't need billboards.
That's hilarious.
So that was my hot take from Chappelle's special. But For the people who got mad at that tweet, I again was just telling a joke, but it's interesting. People were like, "He's just telling a joke,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Yes, so am I."
Yeah.
He's a comedian. Yes, so am I. What gave it away? My Twitter handle saying "jokes by
Yeah.
Candice."
Yeah. I don't understand. Like the outrage. Like,
Outrage of anything online, I
yeah.
do not understand.
His special to me, and I'm definitely biased because I think he's the GOAT.
He's
Uh,
brilliant.
but it's just like, I mean, we're watching. Dave Chappelle is like Jay-Z to me.
Yeah.
Like, we're watching artists evolve
Mm-hmm.
and like continue to get better.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I
And
think
there's no one
it's,
else like them.
yeah,
Like
at all unique.
you look at even the other comics that are like close to like
Yeah.
you think of other comics that are in like your top 5,
Right.
and Chappelle is like at the top, and then you're like, who's your next one? And it's still he's like leagues behind Chappelle.
Yeah.
Like it's not
and
even
whoever
close.
the next one is, I guarantee you, is a huge fan of Dave Chappelle.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I heard Chris Rock say on stage one night, like, this guy is the best comedian of all time.
Yeah, and it's I believe it's objective, even though I know it's a subjective field that we're in. But he's, for my money, objectively like the best to ever do it.
I agree.
And I think the jokes
It's unfair.
fucking great. Yeah,
Like you watch him and you're like, this is
it's too easy.
it's not fair.
It's too easy. And the way he's presenting the material is like, I mean, every comedian's like, why didn't I think of that? But
Yeah.
the way he does it, it's like you wouldn't think of that.
Right.
Like, why?
I will say this with his last special, and I don't know if it's because I have just seen him perform live
Mm-hmm.
too many times as of late before in preparation to doing this special, but I felt like
Bragger.
some of it's my comedy flex. And so in watching him, well, one of those nights is the night there he came and bumped me from the main room. I'm still in my feelings about it because he went and proceeded. He told Adam he was going to do 20 minutes and then proceeded to do like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And my beef was, we get paid. We're getting paid, and you don't know if I'm not going to get paid tonight
Right.
because you just came and took my spot.
Right.
And so that to me was like a little. We still ended up, of course, we get paid, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I had to go ask management, like, because it's in the main room. We get paid well from there.
Yeah.
It's not like we're getting $20 like in the original room.
Right.
And so we get a cut from the door. So I'm like, this is my livelihood you fucking with now.
Yeah.
Like you're taking my stage time, but also now my check, possibly.
Dave was like, I'll go ahead and bump that white girl off of this lineup. Anyway, so you saw him do the hour.
Stay on task now. Stay on task.
That was a callback.
I know. Oh, I know.
So
and
you
that-
saw the hour live.
I mean, not here, that night, no,
Okay.
because he was just fucking around that night, and
Right.
that was another reason that pissed me off. Is because you ain't even working on your stuff for your special. You just up here talking shit. He was bringing people up on stage. They were like singing. He had some girl
Oh.
twerk on stage from the. I was like, did you bump me for a thought to come on stage and twerk? So that was annoying.
Yeah.
But on other occasions, yes, I saw him working out stuff. But I will also say that this special I thought was really funny, but there were takes that to me were not as fresh as some of his other specials. And
Right.
I'm saying that in that there are takes that I had
Mm-hmm.
that I was like, oh, I've thought this exact same thing.
Yeah.
Right? And like, for example, the crack heroin comparison.
Mhm.
Exactly. Like, that's what black people have been complaining about this whole entire
Right,
time
right.
is like, now it's a problem. The opioid problem is a problem because it's white people.
Mm-hmm.
And when black people's like, oh, they just can't get off that crack. Like,
Yeah.
look at them. And so I think for a lot of black people that was always there, take like,
Right.
fuck y'all.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care about y'all. So, but I will say, of course, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But there were, and I think one or two where I was just like, oh, the when he made the Chinese trans joke. Remember when he said, "What if I feel Chinese?"
Oh yeah.
That to
Yeah.
me wasn't as fresh. Like we've all thought that.
Right,
like
right,
I've
right.
made jokes about
Mm-hmm.
being trans fat
Mm-hmm.
and being trans types of animals.
Right.
And so to me, and again, he made it funny, but there was just moments like that where I was like,
To me, though, when that happens, where I'm like, oh, you see somebody do like a premise that you've been thinking about or working on, I go, oh shoot, I take it as a compliment almost.
Oh,
Like,
for
so
sure.
my brain is working on a
On a
Dave Chappelle level.
level.
So like,
Right.
let me.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't do that anymore.
I
But
know.
also,
Screw you because you did it better than what
yeah,
I was doing.
yeah. But also dope that I was on the path.
Yeah, I've had that with actually like Bill Burr before.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I've had jokes that I stopped doing because it was way too similar to what Burr had said on a special. And I
Yeah.
was like, God, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like a compliment. Like, oh, at least I'm on that same level of
I popped into the OR one time, and Sebastian was up there doing like a eating popcorn at the movies thing. And I, at the time, was working
On
on
a-
like a similar thing, and I was
Mhm.
like, God damn it.
because he's just gonna make it ridiculously
Yeah,
funny.
there's certain comics you just can't watch.
I will say, oh, for sure, because you
Yeah.
know, but it's like one of those things where it's like you have to know
Yeah, what's out
because
there.
right,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to watch because you don't want to continue to do the joke if
Right.
someone at that level is
Right.
doing it. Of course.
Totally.
Did you see that him host the? I think it was the MTV.
Not good.
Did you watch?
I mean, I just watched the monologue.
All I know. Well, first of all, when I heard that Sebastian Maniscalco was hosting the MTV Awards,
It just didn't sound like it didn't roll off the tongue.
I was like,
Kevin Hart hosting the MTV Awards. Hell yeah,
makes
that sounds
sense.
right. That
I was like,
sounds
was
right.
Drew Carey not available? What are we talking about? It's just certain people,
Yeah.
it's just not their demographic.
Yeah.
Not that because Sebastian's what, 46, 47? He's not old, but he's not young. But that's more importantly, his comedy
His
is not
comedy is
for
not
right.
The voice
That's
of
not-
the youth.
He came out talking about his like mom's ravioli.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no.
These kids don't know what zucchinis are.
None of these kids are eating vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that to me was an interesting choice.
But he's a beast, though.
Oh, Sebastian's very funny.
I mean, he's like one of the only comedians I've ever heard of that turned Madison Square Garden into a comedy club. The
He's-
dude sold it out 5 times.
Comics that are selling out stadiums.
5 times.
And then you think about that's insane. And
Insane.
You think about like Rihanna probably can't do that.
Yeah. There's a select few people that could do that.
That can do that.
Yeah. 5 times in a row. Madison Square Garden.
Wait, you mean in a row like nights?
I want to say he did 2 shows. What I heard is that they did it in like 3 nights.
How do you even get to a level where like I think about my set and doing it in a stadium
Mm-hmm.
and it would consume me. Like it would just be I'm like how is my comedy reaching those
Right.
people cuz I'm just it's just me. I'm not Beyonce. I don't have
Yeah.
a step team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe I should I incorporate it?
Groundbreaking. An inspiration.
Nat
to
and
us
I
all.
have been trying to figure out how I can get a step team incorporated into a project that I'm doing.
Mm.
And I'm thinking maybe I'll save it for my special.
Yeah.
Will people say that I'm appropriating from Beyonce?
But why does this white girl have a step team with her?
They already did that with Taylor Swift, so they can't do that with me.
Why does this other white girl have a step team with her? It's different when you see stand up in the arena. Like I saw Kevin Hart show in an arena.
Yeah.
I mean, and his show is very big. Like he's doing
He's very
pretty
animated.
animated, and he's doing broad things, and he incorporates like the huge LED screen. But it is different than like the club to the theater.
It's extremely
to
different.
the arena is
Like,
like 3 different than to the stadium.
I don't
Like,
even
what are
know
you
how I would do
Fathom.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't.
Like I know Naeem, and I want to ask him just like how, because he opens
For sure, yeah.
Kevin.
For
Like
Kevin,
when
yeah.
you did O2 Arena and there's 80,000 people there,
How do
what
you
was the
deal with that?
process
Right.
of preparing to go on stage
Right.
for that?
Did you just go out where my Scorpios at? Man, shit is crazy.
Yeah. Where the ladies? Give it up for the ladies. How about everybody give it up for the ladies?
You're going to a stadium and just doing crowd work for for 40 minutes.
For the first 2 rows when there's 80,000 people there. Yeah. Did you watch the epilogue on Chappelle's thing?
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
It's great. It's great.
You had another struggle.
Yeah.
What was
The other
it?
struggle was the more serious one.
Oh,
and we're not
why
gonna
didn't we
get to it.
start with that? We have
Because-
15 minutes left. We have 13 minutes left. That's enough
11
time.
minutes left. My main struggle in life. This is like
In life?
Yeah.
Shouldn't I know about this then?
You're probably just gonna go like, yeah, I know that.
Oh, okay.
Self-motivation.
Oh, that was your friend Eric. Eric Rivera came on.
Oh, really?
And that was his struggle, was motivation.
So my on my tombstone, I wanted to say like I was a great friend. Like I take being a friend very serious, as you know. And I'm the kind of person that will be there, uh,
Fighting for me
physically, emotionally, fighting for whoever.
for when I can't get in the Black Emmy
Hmm.
party
Hmm. I'm
night.
there.
You're
I'm
there
there.
for me.
I'm there fighting. Um, but and I'm giving advice, like trying to help people, giving earnest advice, and then they'll succeed with whatever advice I give them.
Yeah.
And I'll go, well, how did you do X, Y, Z? And they're like, I listened to what you told me. And I'm like, they go, why don't you do what you tell people to do? And it's the hardest thing to
Oh,
take like my
to take your
own
own advice. For sure.
So like
Yeah.
just being disciplined with my vlogs or whatever, like there's no one policing me to do it. So
Yeah.
it's easy for me to like
Get
I don't
lazy
know.
with
Yeah,
it.
I don't know why it's the easiest for me to
Slack.
sleep on myself.
Do you want me to send you texts about your vlog?
I mean, you could if you wanted
No, I'm
to.
dead serious. Do
Yeah,
you want
you
me to?
could. Yeah, yeah.
How often? Like once a week or daily? That's too much. Don't ask me to
Daily's
do
too
that.
much. Daily's too much.
I will not do that.
Bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly?
Yeah, if you notice that you're not
Is that
seeing
going to
them,
be enough?
if you notice that you're not seeing them,
I
I'm
don't
like,
see them now, so.
oh, well, do you follow me on any social medias? I'm at Mal Hall on.
This is where you find out that I unfollowed you. No, I still follow you. I just
yeah.
don't.
But it's just a thing that I need. Like that's just one example. Like being like fit and healthy. Like it's self motivation
Yeah.
and determination that gets you to go to the gym or go on your run or whatever. And for me, I'm like, I don't, you know, I don't do that for myself.
For yourself in anything?
In anything almost.
So like not for like working out or
not working out.
work related work like as far as your like where do you need the most? Is it on your career stuff or is it more on like a physical
I think it's
or both
I think it's
equally?
both. I think it's just a thing where it's like I'm in my mind and my being, I'm like I'm here to help the people that are important to me,
Mhm.
and I should just be more important to myself is like what it ends up being. Like I thought about it coming up here. I was like, what is my struggle going to be? And like
Yeah.
that's the main one that stuck out as like a real thing.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
care about self-care, like care about yourself enough to like be motivated to help yourself.
Do you think that it is a form of I don't want to use the word self-hate because that seems too strong.
Right.
But do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
a form of you don't think you're
Self-loathing
worthy,
type thing, yeah.
right? So you motivate other people, but you don't think you're worthy of or can achieve these things. So you motivate other people, and in that you're distracting yourself from doing that to yourself.
I don't know, but I don't think it's that because I know I don't like hate myself.
You should,
Oh.
because let me tell you.
And then
How much time you get?
And then Mal killed himself immediately after the podcast. He immediately left the podcast studio and walked into oncoming traffic willingly. He leaves behind Calino Bambino. He leaves behind a son and a girlfriend. Unfortunately.
Like, I don't think I hate myself. Well, you should.
Okay.
Have you looked at yourself?
But that's the thing that I'm actively just like, I'm aware,
Yeah,
and that's like the first step is like being self-aware, and
for
now
sure.
I'm just like,
But how long have you been aware now? 17 years.
43 years. So I'm working on it. I'm trying to be better, but that's like my struggle. Like
Well-
I'll start maintaining good habits is a thing that's like
Hard for you?
hard for me.
And you know, because how many days they say there's a
like
21
21,
days
yeah.
it takes to make a new habit.
I'll get to 15.
You're
Swear
almost
to God.
there.
Yeah, sure. Almost. It's not there.
But is it even true? Like, is it true that it's 21, or did they just tell us that?
I think it's probably true. It's between
How would you know?
21
You never made it past 15.
Yeah, but all the people that do.
Who do? Who do?
The people that take my advice, I tell them it's 21 days.
I feel they know. Ask them. Have them on the podcast, Candice, and you can talk to them about it.
Mal told me 21 days, and I made it.
And I did it, and
I
he's
gave
worked.
up smoking.
I feel like, you know who's a person who I feel like who would really know the answer to this question? Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh.
I would like to have him on my podcast.
Well,
I'm going to manifest that.
Let me text him really quick.
Have you read any of his books?
No.
None of them?
Mm-mm.
Me neither. But
I like how you tried to shame me. None of them?
none of them? Yeah, me neither. But I'm going to. I hear. Well, the first one that I think that became a national bestseller was Blink.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one out now. I listened to his podcast, Revisionist History,
Mhm.
which is really good.
I have listened.
Yeah. But he's got a new book out now. I think Talking to Strangers is what it's called.
And
That's
you can't get on board with that because you don't talk to people.
I don't. I force myself to do it because I know that I just will get my little hermit crab.
You don't want to be that person.
It's too late. I already am. I have to force myself. You know, I'm like the Hulk. How he says that he is fighting. They're like, how do you? They phrased it a certain way. Basically, they were like, how do you keep him inside? The
Mhm.
Hulk inside. Something like, and he's like, no, that's who I am all the time. Like that's I'm fighting to.
I am the
yes,
Hulk.
yes.
I'm fighting to be Bruce.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's how I am with my my default is not talking to people.
Gotcha.
And so I have to force myself to, and I do, but because I know it's not good. But
That's your struggle. Talking to people.
I need to take another test because I think I'm higher on that spectrum than what I normally when I test it on my autism test.
Yeah.
I was a 15, but it's out of like 50.
It's on a 17 scale. Candice, nobody told you.
Have you ever taken an autism test?
No, because I'm not autistic.
It's a cocky thing to say.
And I'm very.
I don't like the way you said that.
You know what? I'm not confident in most things.
But I am confident
Yeah.
in not being autistic.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have swag, and I also don't have autism. That's the name of my first special on HBO.
Swagless and autisticless.
Autisticless.
All right, we have to go.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun.
Mal, thank you. You came up from San Diego
Just for this.
just for my podcast.
Yeah.
And you don't understand. I would never go to San Diego. I don't like going to San Diego getting paid to do stuff.
I do know that.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, like, to just go do someone's podcast?
Yeah.
I feel like, ugh.
On my tombstone, good friend.
Good, you're a great friend.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have you back.
And I wanted to be
And
back.
you kept
and
saying
hang out.
October.
Yeah. And you know what? We made it happen.
We did.
And if the fans enjoy it, like my portion of the podcast, they can find me on social medias at Mal Hall, Mal Hall TV on the YouTube, malhall.com, and just unfollow me at all of those.
All of those. Also, if you are a black man and you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget that Mal wants to hear your feedback.
Yeah.
We're gonna find Mal by the end of let's say the end of 2020
By the way, not just black men, just black people.
in
please.
general.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, the ones who vocalized it the most were the
Our
black
men.
men.
Yeah, for sure.
They felt. I don't want to say threatened because that's not the word, but
No.
they were affronted by your swaglessness.
Yeah. Mhm.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. That seems like the least insulting way to say it.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening one more time to The Struggle. If you have not subscribed, make sure you do that on all podcast platforms. We're also on YouTube. You can watch videos there. Rate and review us on iTunes. And tell somebody about The Struggle. And also watch Lights Out with David Spade on Comedy Central. It's a great show. I'm not just saying that because I write and appear on it. Okay, bye.
Toodles.